Welcome to Zero Fucks Given. I'm Krista DeLuca, joined by...
What?
That doesn't sound right!
I mean,
please.
no,
Please, no way.
Are we
no.
conjoined?
No.
Or just say with me today,
With
since
me
you love
today is
that preposition.
Susie Q, Carson Block, and his sidekick, Freddy, Saul Brick. How are you guys? I feel like we should redo it.
No.
That's always my favorite part of the show.
Oh, God.
Yeah, seriously.
I sound seriously challenged. No, you fucking...
Do you think on your first year anniversary of doing this show, do you think you'll nail the intro at that point?
Yes, but it's not my first year anniversary yet.
No, I know. That's
okay.
But the best part is like you're
time.
actually not trying to fuck this up. Now we are trying to fuck you up on it.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, that's
It's
true.
not
We give you a little bit of a
cool.
nudge.
It's not cool.
So cool. It's so cool.
One day you're going to flawlessly introduce us and maybe even a guest, and I'm just going to be speechless for 3 to 5 minutes.
And it's going to be time to find a new host.
Yeah.
I try when we do have guests to really be spot on. Have you
Remember
ever-
their names?
Yeah, that's
Do you
a
remember
hard
Hugh Hendry? What
Yeah.
were you
I was
thinking?
Hugh
when-
Hefner.
Hugh Hefner. You're like, oh yeah, Hugh. No, just sorry for
But
those
I
people.
didn't say it.
For those people who didn't watch that episode, we did not have Hugh Hefner, now
From the
deceased
dead.
Playboy
From
on.
the grotto.
We had Hugh Hendry.
And then here
Hugh
he comes
Hendry
out.
from the grotto.
Oh, good episode. Although he didn't retweet it, so I'm not sure if he thought it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I wanted him to like get on his like skateboard and like. Just,
Yeah, it's
like,
a little
come
hard
in.
when you're sitting down in front of a laptop.
Okay, well that's
Yeah,
here
it's
nor
an
there.
issue.
That'll be next time.
whatever.
Um,
Anyway, let's get into it. Who's starting with Occupy SEC? Who wants to talk about
You
that?
are. That's yours.
You. That's
no,
you.
I'm kidding. So,
You
yeah.
spotted it, right?
Well, I just became aware of it. So we're filming this on
About
a Tuesday.
3 hours ago.
Yeah. So I became aware of it actually on Sunday. It's just a couple of days ago, and this show will air on Friday, which is the day of Occupy SEC. So it's a protest, and the electronic flyer that they did is like, raised fist in the air, like seeking justice. And it's apparently aimed at naked short sellers, hedge funds, market makers, Ken Griffin, and it quotes Elon Musk saying,
Always.
if you can't, how can you sell a stock you don't own? You can't sell a house you don't own. Of course, he sells products that don't exist all the time in the form of features on Tesla that aren't real. But anyway, that's what this is, and it looks like it's being organized by some dude who's, what's that?
I mean, I think pretty high percentage of the people are virgins of the involuntary kind.
Yeah, and definitely, it's like incel fest. I think it's probably 98% overlap with QAnon people.
Yes.
But the awesome thing is, Zer0es will be covering it. We will have our correspondent on the scene.
It's really happening.
Roddy Boyd.
Yeah.
With an actual camera crew, supposedly.
Yep.
And like talking to these people. And I really wish I'd known about this sooner, because I think that there are I think they could have gotten some corporate donations to help their efforts. So I think sponsors that would be interested would be Latham and Watkins law
for
firm.
sure.
Quinn Emanuel. And I think this would be a great place for the professor who is an academic fraud at Columbia, Josh Mitz, to launch his presidential campaign as well.
Question is, do you think they'd have sort of like, when you run the marathon, like people are standing out, like, handing you kind of things as you go by? Do you think they're just like handing out donuts because that's what most of this crowd are going to end up with, or
Bagels and donuts.
bagels and donuts?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
awesome.
shit,
A bagel
yeah.
and donut stand.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
No, I did want to, if we'd had more time, like if I followed these people and I knew that this was coming, then would have tried to.
I will totally go down there and have a bagel. and
Totally.
donuts.
I would have connected with a fraternity house in the area to see if we could get some people down there, which might end up being more than the number of protesters. I have no idea whether this will be 10 people
So wait,
or
this is
or
happening
100.
this Friday?
That's-
But
that's
get
a
them to
good
go
question.
down naked, like
like naked short sellers.
Naked shorts. Yeah,
I like it.
that would have been
That'd be
awesome.
really good.
Real question is, how many people do you think are going to turn up? Because
Is it going to be 10 or is it going to be...
10,000? I mean, genuinely.
Yeah,
like,
it's not going to be 10,000.
I don't know, man. I think a lot of these people have a lot of time on their hands and a lot less money than they had about this time last year. So if there were going to be free donuts and bagels, that might be the only meal that any of these idiots are getting.
Oh, we didn't
for
say
me-
those that's and donuts are free. It costs them. But they got a whole bunch of bagels and donuts. Bags.
So yeah, so that's very exciting.
Roddy should ask the people to hold this bag while he interviews.
Hold this, please.
Excuse me,
Totally
would you hold
would.
this bag? Like different tickers written on it. Perfect.
So that's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, no one from that little weird corner of the internet watches this and realizes what Zer0es is and that we're taking the piss and lynches Roddy, which is probably a non-zero chance based on some of the videos we saw of people organizing it. They seem to overlap very heavily with the I've got guns, more than one, I'm big on QAnon, I'm not big on leaving my house meeting women. I'd say that's the kind of Venn diagram we're looking at for some of these people.
Yeah, no, I think, one of these guys whose video we saw, definitely, somehow or another, he missed that whole plot to kidnap the Michigan governor. Like,
You know what?
like he showed up too late to the meeting or something and didn't get indicted.
My favorite thing. So we spent a little bit of time yesterday actually searching Twitter for the hashtag.
Oh, yeah.
And you found this one guy.
This is the organizer, or one of the organizers.
Well, no, not the video. The person who'd been tweeting at DOJ.
Oh, no, he keeps tweeting about this at DOJPH, and somebody replied to him, why do we keep tweeting at DOJ Philippines? It makes us look unserious.
So again,
up until that part, nothing was making you look unserious.
so if we'd have more time, we were also going to see if there was a Filipino actor that we could have
Awesome, really?
just tasked to kind of walk around and be like, yo, I'm here from DOJ Philippines. Like, we are taking this shit very seriously.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, get him to do the Keanu Reeves from Point Break.
Yes.
I am an FBI of the Philippines agent.
That'd be awesome.
I'm an FBI agent.
So yeah, that's been of like great excitement, and hopefully that'll deliver.
Yeah.
It's,
Either way,
He's
man.
excited about it.
I'm excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
like the greatest news all week. This is, I mean, like, okay, what are the odds that some of these people actually try to like storm the SEC?
and the
I'm not saying they should do it, but if they do it, you find anything that belongs to us, please return it.
what's the chances that if they did storm it, like all they find is just guys sitting around watching porn again?
I think that the SEC
100%.
figured out to block porn, like since the financial
Oh,
crisis.
really?
Wow.
They probably figured that. Well, they might not be up on like the current porn blocking technologies,
Yeah.
but besides, like everybody spanks it with their phone now, I think, right?
That's true. Actually, this
SEC's
leads,
probably like running Windows 2000, so it's
this leads back to we were having lunch the other week and a great business idea that we had. This is at the intersection of old world business, declining attention spans, and for-profit education. So it had occurred to us that with attention spans in such rapid decline, and a lot of kids, especially like college kids who spent all this time during the pandemic on Zoom classes, like in-class attendance has massively dropped off. And in addition, when kids actually turn up, their attention spans are fucking terrible and like they're totally incapable of reading a textbook. Now back to the porn on the phone thing. We were saying like the other month, like, I mean, who buys porn mags any day? Like, I mean, does that business even exist,
exist.
right? So what we could do is, in order to make people actually more interested in flicking through the hard copy textbooks, we could go and we could get all the porn mags that are no longer they're on shelves collecting dust, okay? You donate your porn mags, and what we do is every 6 pages, you've got, some kind of porn of whatever you're choosing. So not only does it increase the customization of the textbook, because you can be like, all right, what fetish are you into? But I really think, if I'm being deadly serious, when I was sitting in a really boring biology class, and you're just given a picture of an eye, and you got to remember 26 different parts of the eye, and you're thinking, I'm not going to become an eye doctor. Why the fuck do I need to know this? I just need to know that if something's coming fast towards my eye, I go like that, and problem's kind of solved, and then I don't need to visit the guy who did study this. And I was thinking, if I was sat there being oh, actually, it was really hot Asian chick on the next page, I would totally have remembered that, because I'm much more of a visual learner anyway. So I would totally have remembered that.
But maybe instead, you got to crawl before you run, right?
Okay.
So before we start sprinkling the organic chemistry pages in there, I think you just hand them, porn mags and be like, look, read this. Practice looking, turning the pages, absorbing the information on the page, get to the letters. Those can be hot. That shit never happened. I mean, just let's be totally honest here. These 2 chicks didn't just walk up to this guy at the bar and grab his cock. But whatever. It's you'll need these skills for reading English literature,
but
for
the
reading
readers' wives,
Shakespeare, and
that was all true, right? The wives that were writing in, that was all totally true, right? Or was that made up as well?
it depends on how ugly they are.
Don't ruin my childhood for me.
Yeah. But
okay.
No, I think that's but yeah, crawl before we run. It's just let's take take those old, sad, abandoned, brings a tear to your eye. Nobody's, getting the pages stuck together anymore. Porn mags, and use that to get people back into the post-pandemic rhythm of life. Okay.
So we kind of have 6 pages of porn, 1 page of dull textbook.
I just think, 6 pages of porn, then the bullshit letters, then 6 more pages of porn. And it's got to cover different genres, so you need the Asian chick, black chick.
Yeah, the bullshit letters. What do you mean by that? Because I haven't.
Oh, don't pretend you never read a porn mag, Krista.
So, I didn't read them. I looked at the pictures.
So so the things that were happening to me in my late teens and early 20s. Yes. There are people who made these same stories up about themselves, and
oh God.
Yeah, letter to the editor.
Got it.
Anyway, so there's the world-class business idea. And the reason we wanted to start the show with all the joyful stuff is because things are still pretty bad in Russia. And
they're getting worse.
They're getting worse. And we're going to turn to that. Sad music.
Yeah, sad music.
Sad music.
Clearly society there is really unraveling.
Yeah. This week, I read an extremely prestigious online newspaper that
kind of akin to porn.
Yes, that a man in Russia punched a camel in the face. But that's where the story gets really good. So, after abusing the animal, which was at a children's summer camp.
Well, it wasn't summer camp. It was, winter.
Was it really?
It was a children's camp.
That's what summer looks like in Russia. Just minus 20. They're like, oh, it's so warm today. Oh, Vladimir, run outside. Have fun with your friends. I killed them. And so anyway, it was at a children's camp.
Children's camp, yeah.
Unclear if it's summer. Winter camp, perhaps. And after the guy punched the camel, I think bit
punched the camel in the face.
Yeah.
Unprovoked, by the way.
Unprovoked.
There's video of this. It was unprovoked.
The camel bit him and then I think trampled him to death. Which I think is fucking
That's fabulous.
Awesome. That's by far.
Now, because you're not up on your physical porn
I didn't know
skills,
that a camel could
you missed the rest of the article. So there's good stuff here. So camels in Russia today often face either a life of misery in circus roles or abandonment. That's true of just about every person in Russia, too.
At least the women.
Yeah. I mean, so let's see here. All right, that one's sad. Okay. In 2018, Vladimir Putin signed the Law on Responsible Treatment of Animals.
Shut up!
Is it
Are you
true?
serious?
I mean,
Yeah, why would you make
it's
this up?
online. It's got to be true.
Clearly.
Banning petting zoos from operating at shopping centers, as well as hosting animals at bars and restaurants. So no camels at the bar. Now, this is not without controversy. The state-funded RT television network reported that this law would make life harder for semi-legal circuses across Russia
Oh my
to
God.
use animals, including camels.
Oh my
I
God.
told you, like, the best part of this article was the shit below the fold. Let's see. The law's scope covers the use of animals for cultural and entertainment purposes and the cruel treatment of animals, including beatings. But I mean, Russian culture and entertainment, if you're not beating something or someone, like, it's like, what is there? Don't give me that ballet shit. Like, there's a reason Baryshnikov moved to the U.S. decades ago. In July 2020, Russians were left too scared to leave their homes after a herd of 80 camels invaded 3 villages and caused mayhem. A resident said at the time, if you look at one directly in the eyes, the animal chases you and you have to run away. Earlier that year, a rogue camel was blamed for 40-minute rail delays in southern Russia. Volga Railways expressed concern that more and more wild and domestic animals had been wandering onto tracks.
You know, I'm wondering at what point.
I mean, this is this incident is a microcosm of Russia and Russian culture.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
at what point the generals start blaming, like, issues in Ukraine on the camels, being like, well, the fourth, they're like, shit, we ran out of tanks. They're like, it's fine, we'll send in wild camels. That'll fuck them
Well,
up.
when prisoners stopped volunteering for the Wagner Group,
Yeah, I
Send
mean,
in the camels.
those
'Cause
guys are volunteering the same way like Sean Mars
Camels are not-
volunteering to buy Luckin Coffee, right? It's not exactly free choice.
yeah, exactly. And those camels, those things that the kind they have in Russia.
The two hump, or it's the two.
Yeah,
hump
they're
kind,
two
right?
humps. It's a special kind of camel, like archaic or something. But
Okay.
anyway, it said they weigh about 1,800 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah,
They're
like
not-
one. So like one of
They're
those
not
stepping
that
on
friendly.
you.
I rode on one in Marrakesh.
Okay.
I know. Didn't you just want to punch that motherfucker in their face?
No, like I was
No?
so.
She was like to the ex-wife,
Oh.
why didn't you see if you can hit this fucker?
My
I thought
ex-wife
they-
was behind me, and she filmed me on the camel. I don't know. I was really excited, and
It's strange how they get up, right? Because it's
Oh.
like back legs first, so you
I have
kind of
to
like
tell you,
lunge forward.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Interesting.
When just sitting up there, I was like, "Holy crap!" And yeah, they're just not that nice.
They're amazing animals, though. I mean, really, like the adaptations and the fact that they
True.
can go many days
Oh,
without
100%.
It's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
but
It is pretty cool.
I used to be all like, "Oh my god, camels!" and like just get
Now you're like, oh my god, camel toe. Fuck yeah.
okay, exactly. Anyway,
Anyways. I didn't know you knew so much about camels. Did you read about the specific type of camel in Russia?
It's right here.
Oh, it was in the. Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
figured that
no.
bit. I
No.
figured you didn't randomly know about outbreaks of camels, but the specific type of
No,
camel.
he did a little
Somebody
bit-
once handed me a camel textbook that was interlaced with porn. That's how I
There you go.
figured it out.
There you go. You've never forgotten it.
Watching people hump? Huh, 2 humps.
oh, I see.
See, the association thing would really work for the porno textbook.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly address some of the incel issues we have in society. If like they got out and knew what it looked like, they might be more down.
Well, shit, man. If I knew, I wish I knew about Occupy SEC earlier. Could have brought a bunch of zoo animals there for them to bang. You're no longer, well, you still are, but a little bit, some ways less incel than you were before you arrived.
Exactly. Anyways.
Oh shit! Like that's one of those guys. As he was doing his video, Remember this when we watched one of the incel or the Occupy SEC organizers? He's like talking into the camera. He's like, and if you think that you can threaten us or keep us down, and you hear this, he's like,
No way.
that's my pig.
Yeah.
No way.
Shit you not. Shit you not. I mean, and it's like,
There's my pig.
you didn't think you should like reshoot this here, or
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, you're not using like film. It's come on, just.
There's my pig.
So I'm telling you, man, these dudes
That's
are,
awesome.
just some of these dudes are
great.
definite goat fuckers.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Definite goat
God.
fuckers.
So yeah, so
He's gonna have a fun
we
time.
put it out to people yesterday. Were there topics that they wanted us to discuss?
Yep.
And there were some things that we just know nothing about. So
A lot of things we know nothing about.
yeah, so
But it's cool people think we might.
I know it
That's
is
good.
always a real compliment. But one thing we do know a little bit about is Temasek. So someone had asked, with respect to Temasek, if we can
Dig up more dirt on Temasek.
Yeah. I don't
So
know.
well, let's talk for a sec.
Let's talk about the context
well,
of how we
what
know.
is Temasek? So
Yes.
Temasek is one of two, and I'm not sure how or why they have two separate sovereign wealth funds in Singapore, but it's one of the two. Might be the bigger. The other is
Right.
GIC. But yeah, Temasek,
It's hard to mark up your privates if you don't have two of you.
there you go. Yes, that's honestly
It's
that's
probably the
probably
stated reason.
big. Yeah. So well, when they I don't know what the performance numbers are recently, but I remember 2011, 2012. Everybody thought Temasek was so smart, like, they've compounded at 20% since inception. But part of that is because what they count are these enormous stakes in like Singapore Air, Singtel, that they got for like pennies, and then they reference the listed stocks price, and so they include that as a big part of their performance, I think. But it's funny because there's this perception that they're smart money, and the reality is like most of the people who work at Temasek doing deals are mid-level bankers.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of reach the the VP level at a bank, and then it's okay in Asia. Let me go to Temasek, and when I go to Temasek, my whole function is to participate in deals brought by big investment banks, because that way they're going to rehire me at a director or managing director level for a lot more money, and and then I'm going to turn around and sell it to my former junior who's going to be at Temasek buying shit off me. So that is
Right.
how Temasek works and why the wheels keep turning as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I think back to your point of them being thought of as smart money is, it's a 9-to-5 gig. It's not like, it's kind of this hiatus in your career where you get to kind of pad the rest of it, but they're not sitting there crunching numbers.
It's like a
for
gap
more
year
hours.
for Asian investment bankers.
Like a summer camp for Asian investment, but without
a
the camels.
Russian summer camp in Singapore.
And I always remember, perennially Li Ka-shing, who is a highly regarded investor in Asia, one of the big tycoons. I mean, his nickname is like Superman. And whenever he would be selling a stake in something, you're like, how did you get to be worth some amount of tens of billions of dollars? Generally not by selling low. And then everyone would take a look at the deal and they'd be like, yeah, it's typical like Li Ka-shing deal, pass, thank you. Not because there was anything wrong with it, just like no meat left on the bone. He's owned the asset for 20 years, financially engineered the fuck out of it. And it's like, it's time to list 12% of this. And Temasek was like always there. And then like in the local Hong Kong papers, it'd be like, rumored Temasek cornerstone. I'm like, guys, don't you just look at the performance of everything that like he lists that you invest in and work out you are the dumb money at that table? And obviously not. So I strongly, like you, doubt the reported IRR numbers. Not in the kind of conventional PE, how are you messing with your IRR numbers, because it's also run by, I think, the Prime Minister's wife, or
Yeah, I think it's now his wife, because I remember when Lee Kuan Yew was still alive, it was the daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
The
See,
PM's
you
wife.
just kind of wonder, what are the
I'm sure she's the most qualified person in all of Asia to run a massive investment business.
Yeah, so, if we had the time, it would be really fun. It would be awesome if they opened up the books one day and people got a look at,
Yeah,
like,
that's not
what
gonna happen.
complete dog shit's there, but,
Yeah, that'll happen the day that there's an opposition party in power in Singapore.
Right.
So let's
so
call
not
it
going to happen.
never.
Yeah. And then you this morning were thinking about taking another job somewhere, right?
Yes, I was.
Speak up.
But we're not doing that right now.
We're not doing
Let's
that?
do it.
Let's do it. Let's fucking go for it. Tell us what you read.
Citadel.
What's that?
Citadel.
Krista? It's not what you called it this morning.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, are you sure?
You weren't
Yeah.
supposed to say it correctly.
Damn it. See how
Are
You actually said
easily-
it correctly.
Fuck.
You were calling it Citadel.
Yeah.
I asked you what was the correct
No, you asked me that about Temasek, and I said,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
half
Temasek
of
or
these.
Temasek.
I'll be honest with you. I'm like, why aren't we like writing
So
English anymore? No.
Why
no.
do you want to go and work for
Because
Penny
they had
G?
an excellent, what was it, 16 billion last year? They had an excellent year, and that's the
Yeah.
place. And actually, people wrote like they wanted you to talk about it.
Yeah, but you know how Ken Griffin makes all that money? By screwing the support staff
I
on their
knew
bonuses.
something. I knew you were gonna say something like that. Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Sounds
work there.
good.
Yeah. What do you think a secretary makes at Citadel? Like $12 a year?
No.
Hmm.
How much does he make
More money
This
than
past
God.
year?
Yeah.
Um,
in 2022?
Probably a couple bill.
More. He owns a lot of that business still. And that's X the market
Well,
making business, right?
Okay, well, 16 billion was the portfolio gain.
Yes.
Right. So
Right.
what?
I mean, that's what I read.
What percentage of that is his?
I'd imagine it's... So I think the gross P&L was maybe 28. And then there's all the pass-throughs and everything. So I think that, like...
Well, right before fees and expenses. So
Yeah.
so that
So there's probably 8-ish billion to go around, and a good chunk of that's his. And then there's Citadel Securities, and then he's probably fairly heavily invested in the funds that do well. He made a lot, like more than Krista.
And I'm sure he has about
Okay,
at
yeah,
least
two
6 assistants.
two was low.
That's what they
Yeah.
do. They have like
6 assistants.
absolutely.
That's honestly our goal then. Do you think if we just hired 6 assistants,
I would love
that
that.
would automatically
Can
catapult
they report
us?
to me?
You'd be queen of the secretaries finally. Look at that
Well,
smile.
I don't know. How are your management skills?
They're awesome.
So do you think if we just hired like 5 other secretaries, that's kind of what really catapults you into the elite? People would be like, they must be doing really well.
Huh.
Oh, I can answer.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
No,
What do you mean?
You think you got to make the money first and then you hire the
I
secretaries?
think you gotta make
That
the
would
money.
be
I'm
that would be my inclination, to actually have the money for that to make sense.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude! I was thinking same salary, just split it 6 ways.
Oh well, in that
Whoa.
case. Hey, yeah, after the Filipino
fine if you want to
FBI
get
guy,
riffraff.
after the
Get what you
Filipino
paid for.
FBI guy gets done there in March, like, come on over and work for, a quarter of what
Yeah.
you make.
It is a good question though. Like, how do they make so much money? I mean, it's pretty insane. I mean,
Why am I not working there?
we know.
Well, for one, you'd have to live in Chicago.
no, they
Oh,
moved
actually,
out.
that's right, Florida.
They moved
I was
out.
gonna ask you where their
I think a
headquarters
big
were.
part of their operation is still in Chicago.
Maybe, yeah.
It's a little chilly there.
But I don't know, it is pretty sick how they make all that money. I mean, we know how Citadel Securities makes money. It's naked short selling, it's
Naked
crushing
short
biotechs
selling.
that are frauds that,
Right.
could potentially cure whatever disease they claim they're curing. I mean, that's...
Well, I guess the other things, with these like Occupy SEC dudes, they're railing against Citadel and Ken Griffin, always talking about synthetic shorts. I
Yeah.
forgot that was on the flyer too, and it's just like, want to ask them, what's a synthetic short made out of? What's a natural short made out of? How do you synthesize a short?
I like
These
the
are
idea of a
very good
cashmere
questions.
short. Yeah. Like, what
Can
are
you do it
doing?
with a kids chemistry set?
Yeah. So anyway, that's
I
Ken
really want to
Griffin.
go meet Rodney and like give out donuts. I have no idea why I want to do
His
that.
name's not Rodney, it's
Sorry,
Roddy.
Roddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
you've,
time
you've
he's
only
not
met him
even
a
a
few
cast.
times.
Whatever. People call me Crystal. I don't correct them.
Yeah, but
Me-
they're putting money down your G-string when they're doing that. Well, Crystal is a stripper's name. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was Crystal Carrington on Dynasty. You probably don't know. She
Yeah.
wasn't a stripper.
You're aging me out here.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
aging myself out. Forget it. All right. So, next, Louis C.K.'s awesome tweet. I don't know what his awesome tweet was. Will you tell me?
Sure. So I guess Pamela Anderson's writing a book.
Yeah.
So I guess in the book she reveals that when she was 23 and she was, I guess, doing an appearance on Home Improvement, that Tim Allen walked out of his dressing room in a robe and flashed her,
Oh yeah.
showed her his dick,
Yeah.
and then said, "Now we're even because I've seen you naked." And so Louis C.K. retweeted this and said, I think he wrote, "Tim, call me for advice."
Oh,
He's so good. So we saw him this weekend. He was in Austin.
I wasn't invited. I know.
Yeah, how come you weren't there?
You weren't here.
Oh yeah, you were out of
I came
town.
back on Friday night.
Okay, you wouldn't have been invited anyway.
Thanks.
But either way,
Oh, he was so funny.
so funny.
Like crying funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
He seems just kind of. I mean, please, I love his humor, but he seemed to have gotten very dark. No.
I mean, I don't know about dark, and I don't know what his stand-up was like before he got canceled, but I mean, he's super raw now, like
Yeah.
hilariously raw.
I think it's actually got to have been
'Cause why?
very
He's like, fuck it?
liberating.
Well, I mean, maybe he always was,
Yeah.
but you never got that from that show, Louis, or
Yes.
or what-
So that's
and-
the show.
And actually,
that
I remember his stick, like,
Yeah.
everything's great, nobody's happy. Like that was not
Yeah.
raw. Like this dude's
Yeah.
raw now. So yeah, maybe he's just like, all right,
No, he's
who
like-
cares? Like, why should I hold back?
Right.
And
Because I think there's a lot of these household name comedians that are now like, ooh, should I say that? Can I say that? Like, you know what? Better err
Fuck
on
it.
caution because, yeah, I've got this massive stadium tour booked and don't really want to get cancelled. He's like, I've been cancelled, so like, fuck it. You're all here to see me, and
Yeah.
it is what it is now. He was awesome. And actually, his warm-up act,
yep.
Do we
I think she's a local Austin comedian,
Yeah.
right?
Do you guys remember her name?
Something Isaac something. So Isaac is her middle name.
We're gonna
Yeah.
get
Do you
that.
remember? I sent it to you yesterday.
I know. I
Oh.
just.
Her Twitter handle is is it Ellen DeGenderless?
Ellen DeGenderless. Yeah. So she's a
She's
lesbian.
adorable. She's adorable.
As she puts it, she looks like she's, she looks like she's,
pronouning.
yeah, pronouny, as
Yeah.
she put it. But yeah, she was hilarious. I mean, like,
She was dark. She was
very dark.
Very dark.
Oh
very
God,
dark.
you were telling me some stuff. I was like, holy.
Yeah, it
Cow.
doesn't get darker than talking about like dead relatives and not caring about them and.
Well, yeah, she was talking about her brother who died of COVID. who
Ariel
is
Isaac Norman.
Ariel
Yes.
Isaac Norman.
Norman?
Yes, yeah. She is funny. She
Yeah.
is actually very funny.
Shout out to her.
So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
We might be able to get her on the show. I don't think we get Louis C.K. on the
Yeah,
show.
she's here local.
If he gets his cock out again, you never know. He might be here.
Wait,
I mean, I think
what?
yeah, because he was doing like tours in Poland at one point, where nothing's ever been cancelled. So
I did when I was in law school, I did a rule of law
I thought you were gonna say
project
something
in Kosovo.
okay,
And this was 2003. There were posters for Coolio, the concert. He was coming to Pristina, Kosovo, and I'm just like, oh shit, man! Like, wow, that's a big fall from grace. Like, I
Yeah.
remember this dude just like dominating the airwaves, 8 years earlier.
is he still alive?
That I don't know, but he probably
Talking
did
about
make it out
Coolio?
of Kosovo.
Yeah,
I think he is.
I feel like he might have
Passed?
died. Yeah, I just
Maybe
because
yeah.
he had what Gangster's Paradise and
Magic. He had like a Magic Carpet Ride, Gangster's Paradise, and a few other songs.
Yeah,
that
because
were
there was
that
the
were
film,
big.
right, as well. in the school with, I want to say Keanu Reeves, maybe.
He died just September 28, 2022, I think.
That's right. Okay.
Cause of
yeah.
death. He was pronounced. He was 59.
59. God
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, not old.
You're getting pretty close.
Really?
Yeah, and you don't even have a hit record.
Yeah, shit.
What has your life amounted to?
Wow. I mean,
You haven't even been to Kosovo.
No, I haven't
We can
really
fix
lived
that.
if I haven't been to Kosovo.
That's
Kosovo.
got Kosovo.
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 I gotta
If
tell
I
you,
haven't lived.
I gotta tell you, the women there were hot. Like
Oh, really?
Albanian women are fucking hot.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
they're
punchline.
pretty.
No.
No, they're
Yeah,
hot.
exactly.
It's just badly marketed Albania, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that far from kind of like the Stands.
I was like, how long's the
Italy,
flight from
wherever. Yeah, it's. I feel like it's one of those places. It's not super functional, but it's just not that well marketed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll send you, and we get a report. Because I mean, look, we're doing all this on the ground journalism, right? With the Occupy
And why do you
stuff.
need a report about that?
Just
I mean, I will go.
to confirm they're still hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
Right.
I'll have my donuts. Given. Sorry, I love the donut
We'll
thing.
send
I
you
don't
with
know.
Rodney.
Please. Whatever.
Right.
Right.
Next.
Okay. Oh, yeah. California Democrats consider wealth tax, including for people who move out of state. What do you guys think about that?
No one's going to have any money left because everyone's going to have to give like $5 million to every person of color who was like afflicted by slavery, right? That's the other
California?
thing
Oh,
that they're trying to get in.
Yeah. Well,
true?
Yeah,
Look,
that
it's-
was a thing last week.
it's a proposal, okay, and I
Fuck
actually
it. For California residents currently, yeah!
I remember the first time this was proposed. It was near the end of the legislative session in 2020. So it was right after they enacted that law that said no more internal combustion engine cars sold in California in 2035. Every company every corporation domiciled in California, which you're fucking retarded if you domicile your company in California, must have at least like 2 women on the board or something. So that legislative session, those were signed into law by hair gel. But yeah, I mean this thing was just dismissed as like crazy town at the time. But yeah, I mean look, my honest legal opinion, or not legal opinion, but my honest legal analysis of this proposal is that they can suck my dick. I'm not paying them a fucking nickel now that I moved out of that place.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? I'm sure there'd be a
You
long.
heard it here,
I'm sure there'd be a
folks.
long line of people willing to fight that fucking fight in court because that's not constitutional. But I'm definitely part of that line. Like I'd be first in line. I wouldn't. By no means would I be the hardest hit.
Carson Block?
But
See,
I mean, they are so egregious. They waste so much fucking money. So let me just tell you like a little story,
Tell us.
microcosm of how fucked up that state is in terms of what they do to money. So in late 2020, early 2021, before we left, councilman from our area in Sonoma County, who's now actually the Speaker of the State Assembly, this guy Mick McGuire, or something like that. So Mick McGuire,
Jerry?
he had been proposing, like he was trying to build this new, hiking trail from
How
Marin.
do you build? Don't you just kind of like be like, look, you guys keep walking over that field, and it becomes a hiking trail.
Yeah, I
Right,
know.
here's
Like
a
I know, like the
machete.
pioneers. They just rolled over it with wooden wheels and
Yeah.
horses. But so anyway, along an abandoned railroad track. So this some railroad track used to be used for industrial purposes. There was a mine somewhere along the way, and so want to convert that into this multi-county hiking trail. And the state budget office got back with their analysis of what the cost would be. What do you think the cost?
I have no idea. Don't even ask.
No.
How far?
Guess.
How long
Guess.
was the trail?
It was from
I
Marin
have no
County up to southern Mendocino County.
well, like 100 miles.
No, not even 100. Probably not 100 miles. I mean, maybe
Is
like
that about 77 miles?
It's probably.
Well, it's
so
got
what?
to be $1 billion.
What?
I-
Well, what do you think it would cost? It's not $1 billion. What do you think the state government? What do you
I have
think
no
their number
idea.
is? Just take a guess. Play
I'm
along.
not. I don't know.
I mean, just to clean some leaves off a path, $1 billion in California.
I don't
You
know.
have a lot of faith in the system. 5 billion was the estimate.
Are you
Do you know what's
kidding
amazing?
me?
For a fucking hiking trail. And so as soon as that
Are
came
you
Is it
out,
a
sure?
high-speed
Yes.
hiking trail?
no, because
I was like,
no,
you sound
then it would
ridiculous.
be then it would be
you sound like
100
that
billion.
guy and like
So, no, 5 billion.
Dr.
And that's
Evil.
the,
He's
and
like, $1
that's-
million.
And
It
that's
was
the
so
state
ridiculous.
government's number. So you know when like the real thing is said and done, it'd be at least double that, right? So 5 billion. So Mick McGuire goes through
What?
the roof because, you know, it's like that's obviously kind of a number. And so he started holding these like remember he held this virtual town hall to rally support. And I got the email and I had a fucking acerbic response to that email that of course, you know, they never replied to me, but got this email for the virtual town hall to discuss the myriad economic benefits that would accrue to the area from this hiking trail. It's like a hiking trail. Like
That's crazy.
first of all, Northern California has no shortage of hiking
Hiking
trails.
trails.
Sonoma County has no shortage of fucking hiking trails. And I'm thinking like,
This
bro,
is a state that is just
unless
completely
you're putting casinos and brothels on this motherfucker, there's no fucking economic benefit, my friend. Like, stop bullshitting us. But anyway,
That's
that's the
crazy.
mentality, right? It's like, give us more money so we can set it on fire in front of your eyes and laugh at you. So you know what? Again, my legal analysis is if you try to stick me with a wealth tax, you can suck my dick. Like, we'll, you know, like I will fight this one till the bitter fucking end. I will spend all of my money on fighting it so that I'm no longer subject to the wealth tax. Like that's
Fucking
how
love it.
I mean.
So what does that work out at? Probably like 50 million a mile.
I just can't even believe that number. Like that's to me is insane.
I mean, that's probably the actual
No,
amount it cost. Like
Again, the real number would end up being
dude,
double at least.
excluding the graft on top
I
of
just
it,
guess-
which was just like, I reckon that's the actual real cost of China putting its entire high-speed rail network in, 5 billion. Like, obviously they spent 300 because, like, why let anything get in the way? But that is astounding.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that also, I'm sure, pays homage to the fact that every time you want to do something, like even if you want to, like, put a new garage, put in a fucking driveway in your property in California, it's like, you know, litigation central, right? And so if you were trying to do this, build a hiking path, you know, all these people would come out and like be suing over like the squirrel nest that you're, you know, like going to be passing by, you know, with the hiking trail. It's going to disturb the mating squirrels or, you know, whatever. I mean, it's just
I always
that
think
state
of,
is such a
like,
parody of the human
when I
condition.
first started working for him and we all went and like at something about your tree that was being put like what was that?
Oh, the protection order on the tree.
Oh
It wasn't my tree.
It
It
wasn't
was
your
on my
tree?
street. No, it was it was tree
yeah.
gate. Tree gate we called it on my street. How this woman tried to landmark a tree that wasn't eligible for it, and you know, it's like then we ended up doing this battle. Like the entire neighborhood was opposed to the landmarking petition. Nobody was trying to tear it down. She was 96 years old, on her way out of this world, and she's just like, you know, let me leave a giant, you know, middle finger to everybody here by landmarking this tree that I planted. And, you know, so she gets like her corrupt arborist to testify that it met the requirements of the statute. And we got our corrupt arborist to, you know, testify that it failed to meet the statutory requirements. But all of the people making the decision were arborists. And to them, like, you know, dude, like, you know, trees before people, right? So, of course,
Yeah,
they
I
recommended
know.
this fucking thing be landmarked. And I don't know, like the one or two remaining semi-sane people on the board of supervisors in San Fran had to, you know, kill it. But I mean, the place is California is just such a parody.
It's
of,
sad
of,
because
of humanity at this point.
It's so beautiful
Like,
and it's
Yeah.
It takes
There's-
it really takes a lot to fuck that place up because it's so beautiful. But you know, congratulations, like they did it. They did it.
yeah.
It's true.
Okay.
Cool.
Why don't you lead us out?
No, it's
Since
your job.
job.
I do
That's
such a
your
good job.
You always handle the outros
Yeah, come on.
with more style and grace than the intros.
With gusto. Usually because she's about 4 drinks in.
Thanks for joining us.
With.
What? Till next time.
With.
Stop it.